That is a Dread Infernal.
This is, you know, there was a guy here last week who I remember popularized a Dread Infernal and some Demon Handlock decks.
Was it the Kong?
It was Strife Crow.
Kong Strife Crow shoe.
Yeah, and
I'm sure somewhere out there right now, Kong just woke up and he's ready for some Hearthstone.
So my experience in playing that card was a lot of times facing off against Dr. Boom. You would kind of roll into this 9-minute turn later in the game, and you would play Dread Infernal, blow up their boom bots, and then just big game hunter the Dr. Boom, and you're like, yeah, I put 10 power on the board and killed your boom bots. Go ahead.
And then these boom bots kill your.
I mean, it happened occasionally, but that's pretty rare that's going to happen. And then the other thing it did, though, was it just gave you 1 extra demon for the Void Caller. So that way you could play it more consistently on turn 4 and actually have a sizable threat behind it. A sizable threat, mind you, that wasn't of paramount importance, too. Like, if you lose Mal'Ganis early, if you lose Jiraxis early, you know, that could be game-ending. But if you lose a Dread Infernal early, you're just like, oh, whatever, here you go.
Yeah. Well, Washington State is actually playing Freeze Mage. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, which is honestly, I kind of like this play right now, considering that Grim Patron is kind of just rotating out of the metagame. As a result of that, it's largely an idea that Control Warrior will be rotating out of the metagame. You know, one of the decks that it targets is Grim Patron. If that deck's not there anymore, that takes away a lot of the reason to play Control Warrior.
But also there's the argument that all the Patron Warrior players are going to go ahead and play Control Warrior if they like Warrior that much.
You certainly could make that argument, but I think that from a competitive standpoint, these guys are thinking like 1 step ahead of that. And so Washington State now is trying to go to that next level where they catch everyone off guard like for one time.
Patron Warrior still exists in its current form. So
but even that being said, the Freeze Mage versus Grim Patron matchup isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's a positive matchup, but I don't think it's quite as losing as traditional Control Warriors. You know, they're going to be Shield Blocks and Shield Maidens and Justicar. Outside of Armor Smiths and maybe some Shield Blocks, Grim Patron doesn't really have ways to extend their life total.
Yeah, Washington State is actually getting in for a lot of damage with these Mad Scientists. A little interesting. Usually you don't see Freeze Mages use the coin so liberally early on to just get out a Mad Scientist, especially against a slower deck.
Yeah, in this matchup, though, it's kind of interesting because if you can continue to get a bunch of repetitive damage, you can kind of bully them out of the game almost. Like in this spot, University of Washington has to consider, should I Dark Bomb one of these minions to deny draws? Should I Dark Bomb it just to relieve pressure? Washington State is piling up damage with these Mad Scientists right now, and if they get to a certain point, just 2 Fireballs will end the game.
Yeah, very true. Looks like this is just going to be a ping face, and they're going to push for even more damage.
Yeah, we're going to find out if this actually comes back to bite them or not, because now University of Washington's rolling so close to a turn where Molten Giants could easily take over this game.
Yeah, Molten Giants, a lot of times Freeze Mage aren't worried too much about Molten Giants because they just have ways to, you know, stop it. They're not really worried about walls because they're just going to use spells to get through it. So you can more liberally go through that 15 health threshold or that Molten Giant threshold as a Freeze Mage if you have the burn to back it up. Right now, Washington State does not have the burn to back it up.
That's definitely true. They have a single Fireball right now. So, you know, this play maybe, they're going to get 4 more damage out of these Mad Scientists at least. And there's a Blizzard added to hand. This might be enough to start making this push.
I just go for it. They could even, you know, just throw down that Acolyte of Pain, ping it for another draw.
You know, honestly,
slam the dome.
There's a lot of interesting plays here, too. I mean, think about the implications of attacking for 4, and you just, like, Doomsayer go.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I can't play my Molten Giants this turn. You're like, you're right. I just bought myself 16 extra health next turn.
Yeah.
You
wow, that's a little bit rough for Washington State picking up some secrets there before they trade in their Mad Scientists, but they still have 2 left.
That's the downside of keeping the Mad Scientist around, is that your deck still has all the secrets in it, so you'll just draw them more often. I mean, that card is designed to take care of an early threat, pull a secret out of your deck, increase your draw power, and also give you that little bit of extra survivability to make sure you stay through there. But now they're even considering, should we keep attacking with these Mad Scientists at this point?
Or should they just push through? Oh, they hold.
Wow.
Okay.
They're going the conservative route. So now, does this or does this not pay off? That's really the big question here. Because University of Washington, I mean, sure, they've staved off that little bit of early pressure now, but they're at 15. And they're playing against Freeze Mage, a deck that just will have tons of burn spells in it. Like, how much time do they have? They still have to deal 30 damage. And then also fight through an Ice Barrier and Ice Block. Like, this is a spot where you cannot feel comfortable given the way this game is panning out.
Yeah. Well, Hellfire Molten Giant is a pretty decent play here. Double secrets are pulled just in time. But now, I mean, University of Washington, they're in a rough spot. They have to, like you said, find a way to piece together that 30 damage, and they also, or have to find a way to, stall the game long enough. They need to draw into those heal bots. They do have Lotheb, which is a fantastic card against Freeze Mage.
Jiraxis can also pull some weight. Mal'Ganis can as well. Here's the thing. They have the tools, I think, to fight against this, but do they have the time to utilize those?
Yeah.
They keep adding more to hand. Now suddenly Frostbolt becomes one of the biggest draws in the deck.
Yeah.
They have what feels like all the time in the world. Between Blizzard, the Flame Strike, the other Ice Barrier. And where's this time going? And I guarantee that Emperor Thaurissan is not going to stick to the board.
Emperor Thaurissan's not really reducing any crucial cards here.
Yeah, I think this is meant sort of just as a diversion tactic. Free up the mana, free up some of the survival mana I have in my hand. Do they need the extra mana late game to burn them out? They'll just have 10 mana. I think they're totally fine with that.
Yeah. Another Hellfire is drawn. But this is a tough turn because you don't want to overextend too much against Freeze Mage unless you have a way to deal with like an Iron Beak, or sorry, Doomsayer. Like if you have an Iron Beak Owl.
Yeah.
Or a Crazed Alchemist.
A card commonly found in handlock decks.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn my 4/9 into a 9/4 Twilight Drake.
It used to actually be a popular card in Priest back in the day.
I actually remember that. People like trying to swap my Chillwind Yetis and then Shadow Word Death them.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you went to the ends of the earth to kill this bad boy.
The only way to kill.
I'm like, you got it. 4/6 taunt, go.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Or, I mean, back then, Shaman was a little more popular. Just kill a totem. Turn 2. Boom. Dead.
Got him.
Kill his totem, put a 2/2 on the board. OP.
That card quickly rotated out of the metagame for those of you who want a deeper history lesson into where that actually went. All right, so there's a little bit of a push. So now finally, University of Washington's beginning some sort of an assault. But this is what Freeze Mage is just absolutely best at, is shutting down these kinds of assaults.
Yeah. And I don't even... They could probably throw out a Doomsayer just for kicks.
Oh, you absolutely throw out a Doomsayer here.
Yeah. They don't even have to, is what I was getting at.
Yeah. Now, the question I have for myself is it better to play Blizzard and double Doomsayer so that way you can play around an Iron Beak Owl? I mean, that's definitely a consideration.
Well, right now this board isn't even big enough for you to even worry about your Doomsayer getting Iron Beak Owled. And you have second Blizzard in your hand.
Well, speak of the devil.
Well, University of Washington is not going to tap that one out of here.
Yeah, they don't have anywhere near 10 cards in their hand.
Yeah.
They're safe from that mistake.
Yeah, but this might be exactly what Washington State wanted. Play that Owl. Give me more fodder for the second Blizzard, the second Doomsayer that I have.
That certainly is something to always consider. And they're always, I think this is the play they needed to make too, is to try to protect this damage as much as they could. If this was followed up by Frost Nova or whatever have you, so be it. But it shuts off Blizzard. There's no Flame Strike to be had here. Some good things come out of this turn.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think just Ice Barrier seems like the play here. That Fireball is your only piece of burn besides potentially an Ice Lance.
Yep.
There is 7, 9, 17 damage staring at you on the board, so...
Well, they're considering the Fireball just straight away.
Well, Fireball would block 5 damage, or sorry, Fireball would block 8 damage, Ice Barrier would block 8 damage.
I think I know exactly where that Fireball's going, TJ, if they play it.
To the face?
You gotta kill him.
Pyroblast next turn. That's true. They did draw into the Pyroblast.
Pyroblast will have to wait. They are on 8 mana right now. I think what's really happening, I don't think they're considering playing the Fireball this turn. I think they're just counting how the damage is working.
Yeah.
And they're mousing over it. Like, I would be shocked if this Fireball came out of the hand this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ice Barrier it is. That will effectively buy them the time they need. Lotheb is now out of the picture, by the way, too, so this lethal cannot be really staved off that much. Antique Healbot will give them a little bit extra time here. But is that enough time? I mean, Washington State's hand is so strong right now. Where does University of Washington find the damage push?
They do have quite a bit of burn. But it's expensive.
Even testing for Vaporize. These guys are on point.
Yeah. You never expect the Vaporize. That's when it's the strongest.
Yeah, if the metagame turns into sending in the 8/6 first, that's when Vaporize rotates in.
Someone's got to make that call. Wow, the last 3 handlers I've played have throwing their Mountain Giants or their Molten Giants first.
2 Vaporize it is.
Vaporize.
And 2 big game hunters.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me of Snipe.
Handlock.
Nobody's playing around Snipe. It's the best time to play Snipe.
Handlock is, I think, is the only deck in the game that, if you just outright want to beat it, like you could build decks that just are going to terrorize the way that this deck plays. They don't always work though. I've been on the end of that camp.
Nope. Arcane Intellect. They can still Arcane Intellect Blizzard. So if they do draw Arcane Intellect, if they do use Arcane Intellect to draw, they're not pigeonholing themselves into a certain line of play.
I think it's looking for a Frost Nova. Maybe free up some of this mana. You know, get some information and then figure out how you should do it.
Well, hello there.
So that's the second Icelands too. Frostbolt is now certainly the best draw in their deck.
Yeah. They do even just have a lot of damage with the Fireball Icelands. I mean, that's still 10 damage.
Yeah.
So do it now. Power Blast next turn. Bingo, bango. Call it a day.
Just dust off the hands.
Yeah.
This was good enough. Oops, I took 20. Well, better Ice Block.
Pop my block, no problem. I get a Power Blast.
Yeah, Blizzard I think is the right call here. It's super mana efficient. It's clearing out the little minions. It's setting up the second Doomsayer. You know, what does University of Washington do to fight this? Without a Doomsayer, without the damage to clear it, you know, this is all but locking it up for Washington State.
Yeah, Sludge Belcher. Not the best draw.
Yeah, you got to kill those
block
Doomsayers.
spells.
You got to silence those Doomsayers, or otherwise they blow up the whole board.
Yeah. I was thinking of the other day, what would be like a Sludge Belcher for spells? And immediately what popped in my mind was both Ram Shield.
You talk about this card all the time.
But then the other day I got it from an unstable portal, and it's like, it just died for free.
Yeah.
My opponent just went face.
You're right.
And both died too.
That's correct.
I died and both died.
That happens sometimes.
It didn't work out like that in my head. I'm thinking, wow, both will just die before I die.
Yeah, you will.
And then I thought again, I'm like, me and both, we're just going to die at the same time.
Is that really what happens?
Well, sort of.
Sort of. I mean, yeah, sort of.
I mean, if it lines up that way, yeah, but
University of Washington's so desperate to get something on board, they're considering playing the Sludge Belcher just so they end up with a 1-2 afterwards. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They say, hey, you know what? Maybe this chips in a couple points of damage here and there. It gets us one step closer. Oh, Nelly.
hello.
Hello.
Well, that's 9 plus 8 plus 1. I think I did my math correctly, and if I did, that's 18.
I think you just Pyroblast here. I'm serious. I think you just Pyroblast here. So go.
I think they have lethal, don't they?
I count 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I count 18 points. Oh, I thought they were at 20. They life tapped.
They're at 18.
They are at 18 because they life tapped.
I mean, Pyroblast seems like a pretty good line, but
I didn't realize they life tapped.
I found a better line.
I didn't realize they life tapped. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was under the assumption they were still at 20 life.
I counted.
TJ can count a lot better than I can.
Well, actually, we counted the same. I just can see a lot better.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have my contacts in right now.
All right, well, Washington State with the Freeze Mage deck are going to take a 2-1 lead.